Hello and welcome to day 18 of my mental health Vlogmas. Today I want to talk about panic attacks. Now, panic attacks can be triggered by a reaction to a situation associated with fear. So, for example, if you have a social phobia, then a attack can happen in a social situation. However, some panic attacks have no apparent trigger, so the reasons for them can be quite complex for different people. But a panic attack is basically a high anxiety state of fear and discomfort. But it's worth mentioning that a panic attack usually reaches its peak within 10 minutes. So, whilst that doesn't seem like a very long time, to the person suffering from it, it can just seem like an eternity. So it can sort of cause all sorts of physical symptoms, such as chest pain, heart palpitations, you could be sweating, you might have some digestive discomfort or nausea. You might be lightheaded and faint. You might experience things like chills or hot flushes. And then you might be starting to feel detached from yourself, or perhaps you might fear that you're actually dying, or you could be completely numb. So there's lots of different things that different people can feel. These are not all the feelings that you can feel during a panic attack, but yeah, so they can be very, very scary, especially if you're not really understanding what's happened and why you're feeling that way. So I want to go through the process of assisting someone if you see them having a panic attack or a suspected panic attack. So the first thing to do, if it's not someone you know, is introduce yourself and let them know you're there to help. So then the main thing to say to this person is ask them if they've had anything like this before. So if they've felt these symptoms before. Now, if they say no, this is the point at which you need to start thinking about heart attacks and getting that person immediate medical support. However, they say yes, they've felt this before, yes, they've had panic attacks before, then you can go on to talk to them about asking them if they know anything that's helped them in the past, if there's anything that you can get for them, and really reassure them that even though the thoughts and sensations that they're feeling right now are very frightening, they will pass. So some techniques to help ground the person is getting them to focus on something that's not life-threatening. So this could be something like watching time pass, or naming the items on a shelf in a shop if you're in a shop, and just trying to be sort of mindful about the situation, sort of get them to realise where they are, and letting them know that they are safe in that situation, that they're not in immediate danger. One thing also to note, it can be very tempting to want to give someone a hug or to hold their hand, but especially if it's not someone you know, you don't know whether this will make things worse or not. So just ask. Is it okay if I hold your hand? If they say no, just respect that and say, okay, that's fine, no problem. And know that you need to give them some sort of personal space. If they say, yes, please do, then you can hold their hand. This can be really quite grounding, but it's up to the individual whether it's going to be helpful or not. So yeah, so really talk to them, acknowledge and don't belittle what they're feeling. So don't sort of be like, oh, this is silly, you're fine, don't worry. These are just not helpful statements. So acknowledge the way they're feeling, and just remind them that they are safe right now, and the symptoms will pass with time. And I think that's quite a interesting take. So most people would sort of try and get the person to focus on their breathing, which can be really good and does really help some people. But there's a lot of emphasis on trying to stop a panic attack, and that brings a lot of guilt and shame surrounding the person having the panic attack. And this can really be quite damaging because it can create a fear of having a panic attack. And perpetuating this fear will inevitably cause more panic attacks to happen. So instead of trying to stop a panic attack in its tracks, try and approach it a little bit differently, and instead assist the person in riding out the panic attack. So be like, these feelings you're feeling, they're 100% real, they're 100% okay. I'm here with you. Let's ride this wave together, and help them to not hold on to them, but sort of let the emotions wave over them, let them feel them. Because emotions are very important. They tell us lots of things about where we're going, things what we should be doing. If things are particularly traumatizing, then we get waves of emotions, and that's completely okay. And we need to stop trying to take control of our emotions, because it just ends up us being controlled by the emotions instead of just feeling them and then letting them go, like waves on a beach. Can be a lot more grounding. So getting rid of that sort of fear of the panic attack, and just instead being like, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. That's okay. I'm having a panic attack. That's okay. I've got through a panic attack before. I will get through it this time. So it's a lot of reassurance for the person, and just keep reminding them that they are safe, and you are there to help them through it, and that mainly they're not alone, and try not to associate any sort of negative feelings towards a panic attack. Yeah, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to. Oh, yes, once the panic attack has concluded, the person will inevitably be feeling pretty darn bad. So sort of help them maybe get some food or drink, or just sort of find a nice quiet place to sit down and relax, and talk to the person and ask if they have any help with these panic attacks, whether they have any treatment, and if they're not, then sort of gently encourage them to speak to their GP or someone to help them, because there's lots of help that medical professionals can give, whether it's therapy or some medications may help in certain situations. But yeah, sort of really encourage them to reach out for the support, because they don't need to deal with this alone. And I think that's the main theme, that to help the person not feel like they're alone. So yeah, so my happy thought of the day. Today I got a little present from both of my bosses, which was a really nice surprise, and yeah, it was really kind. It was good to sort of be thanked for my work throughout the year. So thank you for watching. As always, be kind to yourselves. I will link to my previous vlogs in case you missed them, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.